If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life.
Are all chips and guitars created equal? Let's get into it.
Welcome back, everybody. So under the hood for the N.A.G, not a Gibson, friends. Do not let the logo on the headstock fool you. This guitar is not a made in the USA Gibson guitar. And I'll go out on a ledge and say more than likely Jimmy Page has no idea his signature is on this guitar either down here on the pickguard. But that being said, guys, a lot of you don't like these because of this stuff here. You think it's unethical, you think it's a counterfeit, a fake, a phony, whatever. Guys, I view the Gibson as a replica. In the States, we have this thing called the Franklin Mint. They deal with coins. And the Franklin Mint will make replica coins that you can purchase. And they say, hey, you can purchase this replica coin. Well, everybody who purchases the replica coin understands that they're not actually buying the original coins, right? They're buying replicas. That's the way I view the Gibson. That said, I will be doing some creative things and further investigation before I touch anything to be removing all of this Gibson stuff, even the back of the guitar, which I'll show you in a moment. So truss rod cover, I'd already loosened the screws on that. Save us a little bit of time, and you're welcome. So I'll be removing the Les Paul standard from the truss rod cover. At some point down the road, let me put this in my little, there we go. Yeah, so this truss rod hole looks a lot like the first truss rod hole looked in the original N.A.G that we looked at. It is wide. That is a 4mm truss rod. And I don't want to necessarily move it because I've got it set right where I wanted it. Actually, I didn't have to set it at all, but I will just in the interest of time. Your time. Okay, guys, this is a 4mm truss rod, and so it came with its own truss rod tool in the bag. This is the one that I use, labeled to keep them separated, and sometimes I will use this product, which, oh, by the way, was made in the USA apparently. Particularly on a guitar like this where I can adjust the truss rod and not do damage to the truss rod hole. Okay, so we've got us a 4mm truss rod. It does function. That's perfect. Okay. The tuners. The tuners are the same tuners as we had on the original N.A.G that we had looked at, the Cherry Burst one that you can see in the playlist, the description below. If you want to check out that journey, I've moved that guitar on at this point. So these have kind of these vintagey looking kind of green, puke green kind of. I don't really like that myself. They are plastic. But I'll tell you this about those tuners, Jack. They are tuning. And so, hey, you know, we got that going for us. So the back of the headstock, again, you've got a fake serial number. My understanding is that they use this fake serial number on a lot of these Gibson guitars. And you've got a nice made in the USA. It is a little bit embedded, like chiseled into the back of the headstock. So that means I will have to figure out how to remove that as well. The tuners, if things hold up like they were with the original N.A.G, these are vintage 8.5mm ferrule holes. So if you're going to be buying replacement tuners, two things to bear in mind. One is that you want to make sure that you're getting the 3x3 tuners, 3 left, 3 right, as it were, and that you either get the ones that look like this, the vintage design, even though I've got one of these is kind of crooked and offset, or you're going to need to drill some new holes. So either way you want to do that. If you get a guitar like this that has these kind of vintagey tuners, you'll need 8.5 ferrule holes, machine head holes as it were, or you will need to re-drill some holes. So you do you, pay your penny, take your pick on that deal. That is the headstock. I've got no major blemishes. I've got no real problems with that. The first fret on the original N.A.G had a lot of scratches around it. This one does not have any of those scratches. It did have a little bit of what felt like residue on it yesterday, but in the bright lights I'm not seeing too much of that. But what I would typically do on a guitar like this, particularly a rosewood board, and I'm not exactly sure that this is actual rosewood, but it's a good looking board. I imagine it'll look even better when I clean and condition it. But that said, I would generally, if it's gunky, just take a razor blade to it. Guys, if you don't want to do that, guess what? You do you, man. Don't do it. But that's generally how I roll. I don't see any issues on the fingerboard itself. I've got no weird crackage. I've got no weirdness. Yeah, man, things are good. All right, let me get you over here and take a look at the fingerboard and the frets. So the fingerboard is not super dirty or anything. It's not filthy. The frets are scratchy. You know, that's, guys, you expect scratchy frets when you buy a $200 guitar, and candidly, I've bought more expensive guitars than a $200 guitar that had scratchy frets, man. But that is just a sign that they need to be cleaned, polished. So, yeah, man. The fingerboard, in terms of the frets on the sides, I don't have any like super sharp. I get about right here, obviously, in the 20s, and yeah, I can feel that. Is it cutting my finger? No. Can I feel it? Yeah. So this is a player preference thing. For me, I don't want anything that's hindering me from going up the neck. Whether that is something that I'm just not, doesn't feel comfortable to do it, or I'm catching on a fret, or I'm scratchy fret or something like that. So I will more than likely take my file and I will kind of do some beveling work over here. Okay, and I generally do that by hand with my little file. Maybe I need to get a beveling file at some point. I saw Brant had one in his last video where he played my riff, Jack. I was digging that, Brant, digging it. But yeah, I saw he had one, made me a little bit envious, so maybe I need to get one of those. But yeah, I generally have that little file that you guys who hang on the channel have seen, and I'll just go down the side a couple times and call it done. Which is always fun on a set neck, because that just means you got to tape everything up and be super careful down here where they are sharp. And for me, you know, some people would say, well, why would you deal with frets up here? You're never going to play up here. Well, guys, look, man, for me, if you're going to do one, do them all. That's what I say. All right, let's talk about this nut up here. So the nut looks pretty good, man. It seems to be cut pretty well. It is fairly low. This is a .018. Guys, just you can get any feeler gauge you want to get. This happens to be a Music Nomad nut height gauge. And when I have that under there, see how my string is not toning out there. That means it's hitting the gauge. So anyway, I think it looks pretty good from eyeballing it, but I'm just going to have to play it more, and that's how I'm going to know what has to happen on the nut. Also, if I have any tuning instability, sometimes that could be a nut slot. Sometimes that could be a tuner. So far, these tuners, as I said, are holding up. The nut looks good, but time will tell. Hey guys, man, I was talking about this guitar doing the underhood thing, man. I had to pick it up and play it. Let me just check in with you on a couple of things. I do have the truss rod cover off, however, I have not adjusted the truss rod at all yet in this guitar, and I don't need to at the moment. She is right where I want it to be in terms of my string action. I was able to lower the Tune-O-Matic style bridge piece just a smidge, and yeah, man, I've got great action on this guitar. Man, I don't know what's going on with these chibbies, man. And look, guys, I would never say that all Gibson guitars are good. I don't know that all Gibson guitars are good. I just know that the first N.A.G that I had, dude, good guitar. Great guitar when it left the shop. I did sell that guitar. I sold it as not a Gibson. I made sure that even when the buyer was finalizing where we were going to meet and when they were going to pick it up, I did say, now you do realize that this is not a Gibson guitar. This is a replica, counterfeit, fake, whatever word you want to use. And the buyer said, I totally understand that. I've got a SG just like it. I want it. And he bought it, Jack. So this is the N.A.G 2. If you hang on the channel, you already knew that. And man, I'm just telling you right now, I'm rocking 5/64s at the 12th fret and 4/64s at the 12th fret on the treble, man. And I've got no buzz. Now, the guitar is not entirely enjoyable to play at the moment, although I'm having a blast, man. I recorded all kind of stuff that I ain't gonna show you, but I was having a good time because you ain't got that kind of time, you understand? Now, I've still got scratchy frets. Bending is a little bit problematic with the scratch. It would wear out over time, but man, I'm just gonna polish those bad boys up. I don't think I have any unlevel frets yet, guys. I don't have any fret buzz anywhere. And again, I'm rocking 5/64s and 4/64s. That's really low for me because I'm a thumper. If you hang on the channel, you know that, man. But yeah, so I haven't done anything with the frets yet. I haven't done anything to it, to the sides of the fret edges to smooth those out some for my player preferences. I have not polished. Certainly haven't leveled, haven't filed any of the frets themselves. I certainly will do that if I need to. Then I will crown and polish and all the things we do with frets and fingerboards. I will clean and condition. But guys, it's a great playing guitar, man. I don't know what's happening and I don't know what's going on. But dude, it's intonated out of the stinking box, man. It's almost unheard of. I mean, I'm a little flustered about it, aren't I? Man, let me calm down for a minute and collect my thoughts, guys. I just don't know how to tell you. Now, I get, man, the name on the headstock is the problem that a lot of you are having. And I had it too initially. But I'm going to deal with that, Jack. I'm going to figure out how to take all that Gibson stuff off of this guitar, and I'm going to rock and roll this guitar, man. She looks great. She plays great. The scratchy frets notwithstanding. I've kind of sort of put together that this is a Jimmy Page replica kind of a guitar. Okay, it's got the signature there on the pickguard, which will be going away. We'll be taking that off as we continue under the hood in just a few moments. And it's got the two pickups here, one uncovered, one covered. I don't know what the difference is between those quite yet. We'll find that out when we take them out. Man, I don't know what's going on, but I'm loving this guitar, man. Guys, this is a $200 guitar. Okay, $220 with tax. Shipped to my door, man. What is happening? This is a great guitar, man. All right, it's a really good guitar. It will be great. But man, dudes, what is going on, man? I am digging this guitar, Jack. I'm not saying that if you go out and buy a chibi that it's going to be this good. I'm just telling you, man, this is one of the best sub $200 guitars I've ever had in the shop. I'm just telling you. And in terms of a LP style guitar, man, to me, does it look exactly like an LP looks? No, it doesn't. A real Gibson? No, man. Anybody who's ever had a real Gibson can spot almost instantly what makes this not a Gibson, i.e. a N.A.G. But man, the body is much closer to the design. The feel of the neck, it has that 50s kind of LP, little bit of a chunk neck. I dig it, man. The tuners are so far working out for me, man. So I think starting at $200 with a guitar like this and then modifying it to my player preferences, dudes, I think I got a keeper, man. Well, maybe that's all I should say right now. So let's get back to some boring under the hood stuff. Let's check it out, man. Okay, so for me, this is just a player preference thing, guys. If you hung out with me on the N.A.G journeys, you know exactly what's coming right here. I do not have any need for a pick guard on an LP, man. That is just not the way I roll. Okay, so for me, this is just a player preference thing, guys. If you hung out with me on the N.A.G journeys, you know exactly what's coming right here. I do not have any need for a pick guard on an LP, man. That is just not the way I roll. So that is if I can get away with it. Sometimes when you take pick guards off of a guitar, what is under them is a fun, we'll call it a fun journey. I had a Harley Benton once. I think it was a SC400 gold top. Didn't have it very long because it had several issues, and I expressed my those interests to the person I purchased it from, and they were like, well, you're clearly not happy. Why don't you send it back? So I said, okay. But when I took that pick guard off, it actually had 2 holes. So hopefully, man, let's see if I can get this off without doing too much scratching. Yeah, I mean, you know, looks, is that buffing? Yeah, it got some buffing compound here, and even if there's scratches there, guys, me personally, I don't care about that. If I really cared about the scratches, I could fill in the holes. The same thing here. I'm aware that I can fill this hole if I'd like to do that. It does stick up a little bit. Anyway, guys, it has a little bit of a lip on it, as it were. Oh, go tee shot. That's the money. So yeah, man. In context, man, I can live with that, dude. I like that look. That look kills this look in my mind. Put in the comments, guys. What do you think? Are you a pick guard LP guy, gal, brother, sister, boys, girl? Or are you a no pick guard on an LP kind of cat, man? I'd love to know what it is. This is not Jimmy Page's signature. It is a replica, I'm sure, of Jimmy Page's signature. I actually Googled it, and it does look something like his signature, but sorry, Jimmy. I don't do pick guards, man. And out of respect for you, I'm ripping that off the guitar anyway. Tone knobs. Volume and tone knobs. I have in my little bag of tricks somewhere some speed knobs, man. So top hats are okay, man, and I get that top hats are a little bit more classy, maybe some people think, but to me, man, I'm a speed knob guy. So I'm thinking about something like that right there. Now that color scheme is a little bit off. Maybe when I sold the first N.A.G, I should have. Oh no, I put the speed knobs on the Leo kit. Anyway, I've got that exact kind of gold color and speed knobs on the Leo kit. I think I could get with that amber, man. What do you guys think, man? What do you think about that color? Man, I think that's smoking hot. Yeah, a little bit of that deep honey goodness. See, they're gold on the inside. Anyway, man, ain't got nothing to do with under the hood, Jack. That's player preference stuff. Yeah, I know. Player preference stuff. Guys, here's the thing, man. Everything about guitar playing, and folks, I'm saying everything, is player preference, man. The kind of guitar you like, kind of amp you like, how it functions, what it looks like, tone, all of that. All of it's player preference, man. Absolutely, positively, all of it, Jack. At least that's my view anyway. Got a different view? Put it in the comments, man. Alright, bagging this up. Now, I mentioned in the unboxing vid that the output jack plate is a little bit bent or warped or something right here. So, you know, guys, look, we know exactly what we're going to find, right? When we take these out, we're going to find the cheap import output jack. And you know what, guys? You don't have to change this kind of stuff, man. Now, me, I was talking to Avery about this in the comments of another vid, man. Myself, man, if I'm going to keep a guitar long term, right? Be nice if we could see what you were doing. I'll zip it, man. There we go. You happy now? Yeah, that's better. Anyway, I was talking to Avery in one of the comments about pure tone output jacks, and man, if I'm going to keep a guitar long term, my player preference, give me a pure tone output jack, man. I put those in every guitar that I'm going to keep long term. So that's just me. That's interesting. Alright, so it looks like any output jack you've ever seen on a budget guitar, man. Right? Pretty basic stuff. Yeah, it's buffing compound, and the plate is bent. You know, I don't really, that's not a showstopper for me, man. There's not a lot of showstoppers for Ted as it relates to looks. I mean, I'm not, just personally, me, it's just not about the way that, okay, the color notwithstanding, because I did sell the first N.A.G because it wasn't the right color, right? So I want the color to be right. But in terms of like, oh my goodness, my guitar is scratched, or you got to buff out the swirlies. No, you don't have to buff out the swirlies. What's wrong with you, man? You buff out the swirlies if you want to. If it bothers you, buff them out. If it don't, dude, don't worry about the thing, man. Don't you worry about a thing. Sorry, copyright. Yeah, anyway. Okay, guys, that's what we got for a switch in there. I don't know what that's supposed to look like. I don't know if that's good switch, bad switch. Put it in the comments, guys. I do not know, my friends. What's interesting over here is that we do have full-size pots. Kind of surprised by that, actually. So we have full-size pots in there. The other thing that we can ascertain, I believe, is that we have green chiclets in there. Flashlight. What a feel. No, that's flash dance, not flash light. Copyright violations all everywhere. I can't really read what either of those say, but they does have green chiclets. The wiring, I don't know, guys. I do not know. It was the volume pot was doing something really strange when I was playing it. It had more of a, like, it was adjusting tonal qualities. It was very strange. Anyway, interesting amount of lacquer debris here around that. Anyway, I ain't mad at nobody. So let's see. The first N.A.G had it was shielded, which I thought was pretty interesting, man. Pretty interesting indeed. So do we have, is this paint shielded? Shielding paint? Guys? Look at that, man. Is that shielding paint? You tell me. Sure seems to be. Now, in the original N.A.G, although we had shielding paint down here, we did not have it up here. And we do not have shielding paint upstairs. Interesting. Oh, wait. Well, maybe we do, guys. What in the world? Well, we got shielding paint in the cavities. That is an interesting story. Well, my friends, that's going to do it for this edition of Under the Hood for the N.A.G 2. We'll come back in the next vid and we will look at the frets and we will look at those pickups and see what's really going on. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Well, as always, wherever you are in your guitar journey, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Rock on with your bad selves, everybody. We'll catch you down the road.